Well, we're beginning another week in the Wonderful Day in the Lord broadcast, and we're so grateful for many of you that faithfully listen to these broadcasts sometimes every day, beginning your day with the Lord with us, and then hopefully going on to read your own scriptures and prayer time. And so we're not looking at this as an end all of your time with the Lord, but a starter, just to maybe get you rolling in the right direction and give some insights, we hope, and we trust this is a blessing to many of you. Those of you that might be new to our broadcast, you can go back over the last couple of years and pick up on these broadcasts off of our network. So we hope you can do that. You can go on YouTube and do that. And today we're looking at continuing to look at 1 Peter, at some of the commandments found in the epistle of 1 Peter, designated to the New Testament Christian. And so we're looking at some of those today. Chapter 4 is where we're going to pick up. And he's going to start in verse 7. And he's talking here about the end times. He says, the end of all things is at hand. So I don't think he's saying, Christ was going to come back in a year or two. He didn't know that. But he knew the Lord was coming back. And in the Lord's timetable, it's soon. So he's coming back. And we know that's happening. It's at hand. Therefore, now here it comes his command, be of sound thinking and sober spirit for the purpose of prayer. So in light of the return of Jesus Christ and the end of all things, as we know it on this planet, he calls for us to think seriously, to have a sober heart or spirit, and we should be devoted to prayer. So the idea that the Lord is returning should give us a pause. It should cause us to seriously consider life on this planet, our own personal life, how we're serving Christ, what he's doing through us and those around us, and dedicate ourselves to praying for the Lord's work in the lives of people. So that's where he goes. But he moves on in verse 8, above all. So he's going to add to this. He says, be fervent in your love for one another, because love covers a multitude of sins. So on top of this serious considerations and this prayerful devotion, he wants us to love one another fervently. So he's not talking about superficial love. You probably have watched these award shows, the academies or whatever, and somebody gets up and they get the Oscar and they say, I love all you people. Well, they don't even know most of those people. They don't love them. They're excited about the moment. That's a very superficial love, a very superficial comment. He doesn't want superficial affections. He wants fervent love for one another. And he says, in verse 9, be hospitable to one another without grumbling. So love is action. It's not just the way we feel or think at the given moment, but it leads to definite actions. And in this case, he talks about hospitality. So hospitality, I think, can have a wide range of meanings. It can be everywhere from just being kind and gracious and helpful to someone in need, to bringing them into your home to have a meal, to putting them up in your house for a period of time if they have that particular need, to any number of those types of things. But those are actions of love. And so by being hospitable, we're reaching out in a very tangible way to show love to other people. And it says also that it covers a multitude of sins. And so this is seemingly the idea that there can be a breakdown between people, and so that there's offense against one another, there's sins against one another, and yet the thing that covers those sins is love. Love covers a multitude of sins. So that there are times when we can be sinned against, and we don't necessarily have to clear all that up. We have sinned against others. Sometimes it's off the cuff, incidentally, and those can be forgiven at the moment. We don't always have to go to the mat on every issue, but love covers a multitude of sin. And then he says, as each one of you has received a gift, employed in serving one another. So tangible love is also serving one another in whatever way the Lord has gifted us and enabled us to do. I want you to note before we leave this passage the one another's. 3 times he speaks of one another's. And so as we consider the Lord's return and the end of things as we know it here and the beginning of far better things to come, as we continue to live out our life here, let us consider one another in all things that we do, It's not all about us. It's also about one another. So these are the commands given that we looked at today. I hope it's a blessing to you, and I hope it helps you have a wonderful day in the Lord.